Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The rain was falling heavily on Savannah, turning the streets into rivers of mud and shimmering reflections of light. John Carter, a man in his 50s, was returning home after a long day's work at the machine shop. His hands were covered in grease, his back ached, but he felt a simple satisfaction. He had done what he could to make ends meet. As he approached his modest little house, he noticed movement on the doorstep. A muffled sound, almost a sob. John cautiously approached and saw two figures huddled under a damp blanket. Two little girls, clearly abandoned, were shivering and crying. The older one was perhaps 10 years old, her hair matted and her face pale with cold and fear. The younger one, barely 8, clutched a half-torn doll. Without thinking, John took them in his arms, holding them close to his chest to give them some warmth. "You're all right now. I'll take care of you," he murmured softly. His words echoed in the night like a silent promise, but he didn't yet know how much his life was about to change. He led them into his house. The smell of wood and old machinery warmed the air, a stark contrast to the icy rain outside. John prepared a simple meal, warm bread, milk, and a few vegetables. The girls, initially wary, devoured the food as if their very survival depended on it. That night, John stayed up late, watching over them, making sure they slept soundly. In his heart, a decision was taking shape: he couldn't leave them alone in this cruel world. No matter the hardships ahead, he would become their family. That night, in a small, modest house in Savannah, 3 lives intersected forever. A simple act of kindness would sow the seeds of an incredible destiny, a destiny that, 20 years later, would bring a helicopter to land on his doorstep, turning his world upside down in a way he could never have imagined. The days following that cold night were the strangest and most moving of John's life. Emma and Lily seemed fragile, but an inner strength shone in their frightened eyes. Every gesture of John's, preparing breakfast, washing their soaked clothes, showing them to their room, was met with shy glances and hesitant smiles. "You can call me Dad, if you like," John said one morning, pouring milk into bowls. The girls exchanged a surprised look. It was the first time an adult had treated them so gently. The eldest, Emma, nodded slowly. Lily, the youngest, snuggled against his arm, as if to check that this world wasn't a dream. Life wasn't easy. John worked 12 hours a day as a mechanic, and yet he always found time for them. He drove them to school, helped Emma with her math homework, and read stories to Lily before bed. The house, though modest and cluttered with tools and spare parts, resonated with laughter, whispers, and human warmth. One afternoon, as they sat on the porch, John watched the girls playing in the muddy garden. "You know," he said softly, "life can be very hard sometimes, but there is always hope. As long as you keep your heart open, the world can surprise you." Emma, her eyes full of curiosity, asked, "Dad, why are you helping us? You don't even know us." John smiled sadly. "Because no one should ever feel alone. And sometimes, when you reach out, you receive more than you give." This first year was a year of adaptation, laughter, and small victories. Emma learned to love school, Lily to overcome her fear of the dark. John, for his part, discovered that an act of generosity could transform his solitude into a home full of life and love. And in the silence of the nights, as the rain gently pattered on the windows, he found himself imagining the future. These little girls, grown up, might one day carry this kindness further than he could ever have imagined. Years passed and the little girls grew into teenagers. Emma and Lily were no longer just orphans in foster care, they had become the pillars of John's small home. Every morning, he woke them with the same smile and the same words: "A new day begins. Be brave and honest." John knew the outside world would be hard for them. He often took them to the market, showing them how to treat people with respect, how to handle money, and how to stand up for what is right. He told them about his own mistakes and struggles, to teach them that life doesn't forgive, but that a generous heart always finds a way. One evening, after dinner, they all sat on the porch. The sky was a deep blue, studded with stars. "Dad," Emma began, her voice hesitant. "Do you think that one day, we'll be able to do something great in life?" John smiled, touched by her precocious maturity. "Yes, my dears. But remember, the greatest success is not money or power, it's helping others and staying true to your values." Lily, her eyes shining, added, "We want to make you proud, Dad." John hugged them. "You make me proud every day, just by being yourselves." Over the years, Emma showed a natural talent for organization and business, while Lily developed a passion for medicine and caring for others. John always encouraged them, repeatedly telling them that their potential was limitless if they remained determined and honest. The small daily routines, homework, dinner, late-night conversations on the porch, became the cement of their bond. John understood that his act of kindness, this decision to take them in, had created much more than just a family. He had sown the seeds of a force that, one day, could transform lives beyond his own home. And in the silent nights, he would find himself dreaming, what will become of them? But he already knew, in his heart, that one day their paths would be great, and perhaps, in one way or another, the whole world would benefit. More years passed, and Emma and Lily turned 18. John's modest home suddenly seemed too small to contain their dreams and ambitions. Emma, bright and insightful, received a scholarship to a prestigious business school, while Lily, passionate about caring for others, was accepted into a renowned medical university. The evening before their departure, the house echoed with silence and restrained emotion. John had prepared a simple dinner, but each dish seemed laden with memories. He watched them, these girls he had taken in on his doorstep 20 years earlier, and a mixture of pride and unease washed over him. "We're going to miss you, Dad," Lily whispered, her eyes filled with tears. John smiled, hugging them. "I already miss you, but now is the time for you to fly on your own. Never forget, wherever you go, stay honest, courageous, and generous." Emma took John's hand. "We will never forget what you did for us. You gave us more than a home, you gave us a family, a future." John felt a tear roll down his cheek. "And you gave me a miracle, my darlings." The goodbyes were heartbreaking. The next day, with their suitcases and their hopes, they left to begin their studies, leaving John alone in the silent house, but with a heart full of pride. During those years of separation, letters, phone calls, and occasional visits became their precious link. Emma, in business, was already demonstrating ingenuity and perseverance, while Lily, at the university hospital, was discovering the depth of her calling. With each success, each small victory, they thought of John, their father figure, and knew they owed him a part of their strength and determination. But John, despite his pride, sometimes felt lonely. Memories of their laughter in the house echoed in his mind, and he found himself imagining what the future held for them, unaware that one day, much sooner than he thought, fate would knock on his door in the form of an event that would once again turn his life upside down. 20 years had passed since that freezing night when John found Emma and Lily on his doorstep. His house, still modest, had aged with him. The tools in the workshop were worn, the porch planks creaked under his feet, but his heart remained intact, filled with memories of those two girls he had watched grow up. That morning, John was tending his garden, an old watering can in hand, when a loud noise shattered the silence. A helicopter was landing on the grass in front of his house. The blade spun, kicking up a cloud of dust and dead leaves. He blinked in disbelief. What the, he murmured, unable to comprehend what was happening. The aircraft doors opened, and two figures stepped out with grace and confidence. Emma and Lily, now accomplished women, stood before him, radiant and smiling. Their eyes shone with emotion and gratitude. "Daddy!" Emma exclaimed, running towards him. Lily followed her, and soon the three of them were embracing on the porch, tears flowing freely. John watched them, his eyes moist, unable to utter a word. Emma stepped back slightly, holding a folder in her hands. "We have something to show you," she said with a bright smile. Lily added, "You gave us the life we have today. Now we want to share what we've built with the world, and it all starts with you." John opened the file and discovered plans for a center for underprivileged children, a center that Emma and Lily would fund and run in his honor. His breath caught in his throat. After all these years, after all these silent sacrifices, his act of kindness would now transform the lives of hundreds of children. The rain of the past winter seemed to be reborn in the form of tears of joy. John felt his heart burst with pride and love. These girls, whom he had nurtured and protected, had not only grown up, but they had also found a way to give back to the world what it had given them, a future filled with light and hope. On that day, a simple act of compassion, performed on a freezing night 20 years ago, culminated in an extraordinary moment. John understood that true wealth was not in money or possessions, but in love, generosity, and the impact one can have on the lives of others. And as the helicopter flew away with the plans for the future center, John smiled, his eyes turned towards the sky. He had sown the seeds of kindness, and they had finally blossomed.